going to just lower the damage instead of adding a fuse time. Because honestly, a lot of the teams, they don't even pick it up anymore. They say it's not that useful. I even talked to some of the pro players from NA, and they said, recent changes, people aren't used to playing with it, so that's why they're not using it anymore. They're used to the consistency of if you hit your target, it's going to go on down because of the instant impact.
Well, now with the 3-second delay on that, it seems like it's a much more risky endeavor. And I'm sure there's a bit more of a learning curve towards that new crossbow grenade launcher. But as you can see, we've loaded our way onto Gili Island and are soaring from a nice southeast to northwest path over Chemical Depot, which means Observatory is the farthest corner of the map. Let's see if anybody makes their way up towards Training Base and Observatory, as in just a few seconds we're going to get to see our first zone as well, as we've loaded into this game number 1.
Yeah, there's no pirate team, so we might not see anybody going Observatory right away. There does look like we have a squad or two coming on over. I think that's 6 or 8. I'll have to double check once we're a little bit closer in on toward the map there. I always wonder, because you just saw the new plane there, Dom. You saw that plane. My question is, what time era are we in this game?
Well,
it looks like it was like from the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of aesthetic you had there on the plane. Like, where are you feeling?
We've got Dark Vader in there.
Yeah.
So it's got to be past the 1980s, 1970s at the very least.
Okay.
I don't know. We've got flaming teddy bears. We've got the God of Thunder. It really seems like
we got a lot of crossovers, is what you're saying.
We're either very, very far into the future where technology has effectively made magic negligible, or we're in an alternate crossover universe a la Heroes of the Storm from Blizzard.
So they said the most ambitious crossover was Avengers. I now have something else. Yeah.
Rules of survival, much more ambitious. I mean, look at that sword. I believe that sword is on fire.
It's on purple fire.
Yeah. That's not a natural color for fire.
No. Well, no, actually, you need packets if you want to actually turn fire that color at your campfire. You did see, though, our circle. We are going to be heading a little bit north this time around, and we'll see if we have any action. And speaking of crossbow launchers, it looks like one of our teams have already picked one up.
Yeah, the 3-second timer ticking down, but with 59 players on the map, 0 kills just yet. We're looking to see who will get that first blood. And it is perhaps a little interesting that he did go for the crossbow grenade launcher right there.
Hey, sometimes some of these teams, they don't read patch notes. It does happen sometimes, so maybe he's still thinking, hey, this is still a pretty optimal weapon, and then he's going to use it and be like, what happened?
Did I miss?
Guys, was there a patch?
Oh, and then it explodes. Surprise.
Oh. Maybe it was just lag.
That
was just
could
lag.
be. Yeah.
That would drive me crazy. If it wasn't like a 3-second delay, but like a half second, because then I'd be like, oh, it's just lag.
It's the frame. Yeah.
It's just frame
the
buffering.
Game. Yeah. Oh, man, that would actually be the worst. While trying to track your target while lagging is always the most terrible. The thing that's so much fun about playing shooters in Shanghai is that sometimes the lag is your ally, where you shoot someone and clearly kill them, reload your weapon, and walk away. Then you'll die behind cover, and then they will die behind cover on the other side, because peer-to-peer network transfer is a really interesting network protocol in shooters.
Yeah, I haven't actually played any FPSs here while I'm in Shanghai.
Well, yeah.
I've been playing my MOBAs. I've been enjoying my 10 ping.
Yep.
We don't have that back in Canada. I know Raz will tell you the same. Calgary Internet is about 110 ping back in the day. It got a little better with moves over there, but still, there's nothing. I'm going to go back home and be like, everything takes 8 times longer to happen.
Yeah,
it's going to drive me nuts.
Yeah. It's always fun playing a very high skill cap champion at like 6 or 7 ping. And
right.
Like,
I was playing my Azir.
It plays so perfectly. So
like,
smooth and so easy.
This is what I could honestly be like the best player in the game.
But that's what's so fun about playing shooters here in Shanghai, because every once in a while you end up in a low ping game or against some locals, and it's just a quick test of skill. How fast are you at snap aiming around corners and breaching buildings with your teammates? Looks like we're getting a bit of a drive-by going on as Arov making their way around the map. Now, Smallboy is actually inside of that compound already, and if I know anything from Smallboy, it's that he's going to try to solo breach and clear, as he's already getting into a firefight against Arez. That's the knockdown from Law Pro, trying to finish him off as they go for the run over. pinned against the building, and Small Boy is already charging his way up the stairs, clearing the way for the rest of Arov.
Yeah, Small Boy, he does not take any time here to think. He likes to just rush into these buildings and honestly just go for a 1v2, and half the time he actually does find it. This is actually AL just above them, and I talked about AL being one of those teams that we don't know which one's going to pop up here when they actually try and go for these plays. We'll have to see here. Black is looking to just try and cook a grenade, instead opts to not. Small Boy could come up here to the roof, and this is possibly a trap being set here for AL.
Well, currently AL are just sitting on 3 members in their squad, and they've already lost one of them. So it's a 2 versus 4 right now if the remaining members of AROV continue to collapse on this building. There's no huge incentive for them to try to push the stairs this early on because it's only 5 minutes into the game, but this is wasting a lot of looting time this early on. If AROV want to keep moving, they're going to try pushing up the stairs through the window. Black trying to fire through the door, but they flank around the side. Small Boy gets a knock. Black manages to get another. Gets a double knock. Small Boy turns it over. He swings it around, tries to reload. Black is leaping. He's going for the 1v3, but he gets knocked down, and that's AL getting wiped.
How did Black get all those knocks there? That was almost 3 members getting taken on down. That would have been disaster for AROV. I don't think Small Boy was actually expecting anyone to be outside the door, because honestly, he just walked by 2 members and just kept on going. Luckily, was able to avoid the damage from the shotgun coming out here from Black, and ooh, that was a little too close for comfort for AROV.
I mean, it is a high-risk, high-reward weapon. If you manage to get the hit, that is absolutely a knock, and follow that up with the execution just afterwards. But he didn't get the hit, and it was a completely different story. Meanwhile, Fire Rose are stuck inside of this building. Zeus and the rest of the squad with Loki and Dewey are trying to get their loot on, but Seal looks like they might have them pinned down into this building.
Yeah, Loki and Zeus, we got gods here in this garage complex, apparently, as they're making their way on over. You see that move tech for Seal. They're just going to go ahead and breach up through the top side there. That's going to be the knock coming on from, and Zeus is going to go on down. Another one's going to come down. Look at all these members. They're so low. Unfortunately, it won't be enough. Does Seal get there in time, though, to help their members?
They're trying to race upstairs, but Zeus hiding behind the stairs. Thuck is trying to make his way up so that he can save the allies. Jada firing from over the side, manages to get a knock onto Thuck, but he makes his way behind the car in time. Zeus has been eliminated in the meanwhile, along with Loki. So Jada is largely on his own. He's only got 1 other member of his squad, and Thuck will be eliminated. So a bit of revenge for the Fire Rose squad, but they've still got a ways to go if they want to close this game out.
Yeah, unfortunately for Fire Rose there, they lose out on 2 members. Not exactly the conflict you were looking for. It looks like we actually got themselves a grenade launcher here on the side of Jeff Pro and crew, as that Tuk-Tuk was taking a little bit too much fire for comfort and is going to just go ahead and escape.
And there's Dewey C firing across, trying to keep Seal locked down into that building. Now, Gott knows that Jada is somewhere on that other side. I'm not sure if he saw him peeking earlier or if he's just recognizing where he took those hits. Now he sees it. But there's still 2 members against another 2 trying to keep themselves locked down in this building. Now Fury Road's moving around Call Me.
Yeah.
And the Just Squad.
This is just Call Me right here, that they have gone themselves into a nice complex. Fury Roads does know now, because of course some bullets are coming in their way, and that would be a strong indicator that maybe you shouldn't mess around with this complex, instead opting to go for a little bit of a longer route. They are just in the zone, so still a lot of time to work with. Seal and Fire Rose, though, still skirmishing here. It's a 2-on-2.
Those are a lot of bullets painting the side of the car, but they've got to start making their way up into the next zone. We're about to get to Zone 2 in just a few minutes, and while it's currently not doing a lot of damage hanging outside of the zone, eventually it's going to start building up, and if you're one of those late teams trying to push in at Zone 5, Zone 6, that makes it so very risky, especially with only 2 members left in the Fire Rose squad. Seal looks like they're still pinned down in this building, though, and they're going to be content to just stay there.
So we're here with Gwen in War of Elite, a squad that often went down to Rust Bay. We get to see the pets. Oh, there's pets. Welcome. This is one of the cool aesthetics that we have here in ROS is pets. Usually we don't see it in pro play because they actually can give away your position. So I'm actually shocked that they have enabled their pets at the moment.
The emotional support far outweighs.
There's actually a very, very sad clip from 2 weeks ago where one of the pets got exploded by a grenade in the middle of a field after its owner got killed. And it looked around. It did a little dance, but it looked like it was looking.
That's sad.
And it was really sad. It was really sad.
The big
it broke my
tragedy.
heart. It broke my heart. Seal.
They're trying to get out of there, but their vehicle's kind of
There we
pinned
go.
against the wall. They will be able to escape, and they're now driving away from WC and Jeddah, as they are the only 2 members left in their squad, and Fire Rose will get the opportunity to finish looting out the rest of these buildings. Seal come in, knock out 2, and then maneuver their way back up the hill.
Yeah, Seal going to get out of there. They realize, hey, we don't honestly need to go for another skirmish. We've already lost half our squad. Let's just try and stall it out. Maybe go for a med strat. It is Seal. I wouldn't be shocked if they did it themselves. On the side of Fire Rose, though, they're going to be a little frustrated. I think they did not want to be losing out these many members this early, especially after not even getting a full squad wipe in the end. So you only trade 2 for 2. It's not really beneficial for anyone.
To be fair, though, in round 1, you really don't want to lose any members, at least until circle 5 or 6, unless you're going for a very kill-heavy strategy to try to score some points early on. I mean, take a look at how Fate is playing this. They've stacked up into a 4-man vehicle. They're driving along the beach on the edge of the coast, all the way on the corner of the circle, very far from anywhere else. There's not a lot of loot to be had on this side of the map, but it seems like they're already plenty loaded up at about 10 minutes into the game as they make their way in and might be looking for a late game play instead.
Well, it is Fate. They are one of the more safer teams when it comes to play style. They often do mid strats. Them showing that they're on the edge of the map right now might be actually indicating, hey, we might have enough meds just for our single member to stay out onto the outside. So they're looking to shoot up here. I'm not too sure who's actually taking shots. I don't think there's actually anyone in the building. Maybe a little spectator glitch. We don't know.
Spectator vision isn't showing us anyone in there. Perhaps on
It's a
top
ghost.
of the hill? Yeah, could be. Let's see if they make their way inland towards that package and try to look for a little bit of extra loot. No, for now it looks like they're just hugging around the outside, as Gao is also trying to push their way into the zone on foot and making sure they are also nice and stacked up as we get towards that 11-12 minute mark. And so far, 52 players still up. Let's see how those numbers remain over the next few minutes.
Well, Gao didn't have the best day last night, unfortunately, for themselves, as Fury Roads have gotten themselves into a garage. This is actually Davey. They're in the middle of nowhere. What are you doing, Fire Rose? Not where you need to be. That's going to be 2 members knocked on down, as Mackey's going to go ahead and pick up these kills. I have only questions, and it's not going any better as HE ends up missing the grenade throw.
And now that is a tragedy. They had the car inside of the building. They were safe from all fire. And the driver said, you know what? I can do a better parking job than this. Pulled back out into the driveway, and we saw the 4-man firing squad tear apart that truck. Now, Baby pushing in. They're going to try to break down these final few kills. They get the knock onto HE, but they do lose a single member as HE's able to get revenge. But Ramen is trying to do everything he can to avenge his fallen comrades. He will drop, and that is going to be the squad wipe.
So the Fire Rose and the Fury Roads not doing that well today on game 1. My predictions are going out the window, it seems. What a shock. It's Gao looking to take some shots here on Small Boy and Arov as they're looking to drop off members, so they could be going here for a fight, or they're just trying to reshuffle their teammates. No, it looks like they all came out and they're trying to make their advance on over here toward the side of Gao. Gao looking to position themselves, get themselves on over. Arov has actually gone aggressive here. Seven's going to get taken on down, but guess what? That's a lot of damage coming in on toward the vehicle as they keep up their aggression. Boyka comes on over. Seven's going to get taken on down here. Arov still pressing in onto the compound.
And still, this is Arov trying to get as many kills as they can. A good tech onto the top of the building. Iron Pro flushing out from the bottom. As, oh, hello, Den. He's going to trade one knock for another, but Iron Pro is there to finish off that kill. Here we've got Small Boy trying to get into the front of the building, but it looks like Arov are going to get the full execution and squad wipe.
Yeah, Gao gets taken on down there, so not the great start they were looking for, as they are looking to keep on the trend that we saw yesterday, getting eliminated a little bit earlier, getting into some skirmishes that weren't going their way, as we're here now with Triple F, I do believe, as that's WAF. They're going to go ahead, get that truck into the garage, stay themselves a little safe, and continue on.
And probably try to keep the truck in the garage, as we've now learned a very valuable lesson about committing to your decision once you make your way in. So perhaps that could be something that some of our other squads keep an eye on as the Fate squad continue to maneuver their way around the edge of the circle by training base. And they're actually doing a quick vehicle hop to make sure they're all stacked up on gas and full of ammo, swapping 2 and 2 onto each side to distribute that health pool. So already 14 minutes in, 43 players left. Did they just get that vehicle wedged? They might have just...
It transformed into a monster truck, Dom. It's okay. It's okay, Dom.
Changing the terrain.
You couldn't see John Cena.
Exactly.
Couldn't see his
Autobots
track.
roll out. Swapping over, and they make their way up the hill. The Fate squad still just hugging the edge of the zone here. Not a lot of action for them, as it looks like they've got 0 kills all the way across the squad.
Hey, they ain't looking for action right now. They got plenty of action. They got a demon monster truck with flaming wheels as they make their way up toward the top side of the map near Observatory. So they are looking to just stall this one out. Like we've mentioned, the drivers here in these regions might need to retake the test, as sometimes they often will find themselves stuck on multiple different obstacles.
Now, AROV are actually pushing around the top of the hill. I'm not sure if they know that War of Elite are down in that compound below them, as they're just trying to push the terrain and instead are going for a clear on this building. But AROV, they're sitting at 3 kills already on Small Boy, plus another 4 kills total, so 70 points from the AROV squad very early on, as they're going for a bloodthirsty strategy and find their ways into the zone nice and early on. So it could be a very point-hungry strategy for this team in this round 1.
Yeah, we got a couple teams still outside the map making their way in toward our third circle. Looks like we're going to be a little west of the Observatory toward the end of this game, as we're halfway through round 1. We still got ourselves 43 players on the map. We got care packages being dropped. Mr. Lonely still just scouting out the horizon. Doesn't see anyone nearby, though. They are just on the south tip of the circle by training base.
Still just maintaining nearby that terrain. They're very close to a handful of other squads as the circle starts to move in. Just on the other side of training base is the AROV squad, and further to the east is Fate. But no action just yet, as we're starting to narrow in the zone. Play zone 3, 16 minutes in, 43 players still up, and less than half the duration until that zone 7. So we're about to get a lot of action in the next few minutes.
Yeah, care package over here from Nectar and the rest of the crew here. This is, I believe, WAF making their way on. It looks like we have a couple of name changes just to mess with me today, it would seem like. So a little bit of different lettering than what I'm used to. That's why I couldn't figure out which one was WAF. It was making me sad. So Triple F here, they're going to make their way a little bit more inward toward the circle and get themselves nicely positioned.
Yeah, they're actually heading up towards training base right now. They could find themselves running into a handful of other squads if they try to continue to follow that route, but instead they angle almost perfectly away. It's almost as if the players have got their own map hacks right now, and they're avoiding all conflict with the other squad, with the exception of AROV.
Yeah,
Looks like Sacco is trying to push himself up the hill. He takes some hits as Jiren trying to fire down the Just squad, looking to do some damage as they're pinned up against the side of the building. Mr. Lonely hops into the vehicle, continuing to hop down. Lion trying to push up with RTV, but they manage to get the knockdown onto Sacco, and Lonely gets himself another knock onto Lion.
As you can see here, Lion's going to get taken on down. The rest of the team are looking to back off. It looks like they're trying to go for the vehicle hijack here. Lancer isn't able to do it. K-Rox gets knocked out and gets taken on down there by Akeem. So Lancer's going to be able to survive, and that should be the rest of the squad getting taken down.
Yeah, real messy there with the two of them hanging outside of the building. But, WAF, they're pushing into this building. I'm not sure if they know that Ruven is inside of the squad on the far side, but they're well aware that there's the rest of the Fate squad in this building. Ruven tries to make it into the building. He's low, but gets inside in time, and NRX decide to back away, maybe make another pass.
Yeah, this is WAF making their way around, Triple F. They tried to cook the firecrackers. They went on by, tried to go for the drive-by explosion, but were not able to find it, it would seem, as they're going to go ahead, back off, reposition themselves after a little while.
And they're actually going right towards another compound, which
Hello,
already
AROV.
has more people near the building. This is the AROV squad as they're trying to hold the fort down. One man dropped off. Looks like this is WAF committing to the fight instead. Nepter hops out of the car, leaping in, but Lopro and Small Boy already ready inside of the building. They manage to get a knock onto a Nep elsewhere as Gwen gets the kill onto Khaleesi. There's action across the map.
All right, Small Boy now going to lead the charge here. They are in this middle compartment, and they're kind of trapped. They're lucky there's no nades coming out here at this point. They already took down one member of Triple F over toward the right side, so he's going to get taken on down. Lawpro is going to keep his eye on toward that door as Small Boy was lit up like a Christmas tree, so he had to go on back, go for the heal. Shots coming on through. He didn't check your corners. That's why you check your corners as you enter in on these buildings. It's going to be 2 knocks coming on in for AROV.
Yeah, Law Pro corner camping there, finds himself a free knock. Hasn't quite got the finish off the back of it, but still the rest of the squad are dancing around, and WAF still inside of the building. Meanwhile, Nara going toe-to-toe against Fate and WOE as the zone is starting to close in and force them into an uncomfortable position.
Yeah, Nara, they're kind of just behind this one lone gas sign, so not where they want to be. Fate's going to get themselves 2 knockdowns. You can see they're on the kill feed, and another one coming on in here as Lane's got the target set here on Joel.
And Fate might have been able to eliminate WOE, but they didn't know that Nara was down on the gas station just below them. There wasn't a lot of cover, but it was still just enough for that squad to end up cleaning off WOE and picking up a few knocks onto Fate. Still a bad situation as Riven gets a knock onto Nara, but they're trading back and forth. Fire Rose managed to get another knock onto Lara as they're still just firing shot after shot.
Nade's going to come on in. Small Boy has to reposition. Heard that nade get cooked. It's going to go off. I believe that's actually a smoke grenade. So this might be Triple F looking to force their way up onto A-Rov, and this is forcing them back all the way up into toward the top floor. As you can tell, Triple F are feeling confident. Another nade coming on out. I believe that's going to be another smoke, as they are just looking to smoke out the side here at A-Rov or force them to have to back off. I'm not too sure exactly what Triple F are trying to do here.
They've still got a 4 stack on the top floor of that building, and were able to get a knock earlier. There's been plenty of time for A-Rov to get nice and defensive on the top half of that building. For now, it looks like they're content to just sit and set up their own trap for the next squad that falls in and try to use the chaos to break A-Rov out of that den.
Fate, though, they lose one member as Riven gets taken on down. Nara's going to trade on back, actually, and that's going to be enough to finish off Nara. So Nara's going to get eliminated here. We got 30 players remaining as we just get over that 20-minute mark. Fate taking some shots here now from EA Jeff Pro. Going to get targets hitting there on from Dave Jan as he gets taken on down. Superman will get traded on back, but guess what? Car's coming on out. He's looking for some blood. He's going to go ahead, jump out of the car, tries to make the nice move, and great positioning is going to find him. Yet another down. He's out in the open, but Joel is healing up behind the tree.
Yeah, he's running out of zone, though, and he's continuing to take fire. There is almost no cover out there, but for the single tree that Joel is behind, and currently the E8 squad are continuing to keep him locked down as they are firing shot after shot. Joel gets tagged once again, and the Fate squad has dropped, eliminated by E8.
Yeah, Jeff Pro, that's him with Just Call Me as their last sub player. And you see here, Ducey going to get taken on down here as he tried to make his way on over. Jeff Pro actually spotted him out extremely early during the skirmish, decided to wait before taking shots. So Jeff Pro now sitting on 3 kills.
And look at all of these dead bodies. Think of all the meds. Think of all the loot as he makes his way further and further up into the zone. It's moving up onto the hill, which creates some really tough terrain for these players to maneuver around. But it seems like they're content to hang out inside of the building, which looks like it's in the middle of the circle.
Yeah, we've seen this circle end here before, and A-Rov is very familiar. This is actually the circle they lost that 2v1 against Fnatic, where Aaron was able to clutch and keep his collective calm. This complex has seen the end of the circle a couple times here already this week. We'll see whether or not it sees it again.
Now, looks like Dark Frost are trying to keep their eyes on that compound. They have to know that someone is in there. There's a whopping 4 members from Dark Frost keeping their eye on side of the hill. But as we're starting to get into these final few circles, there will be blood spilt on this terrain, on this compound.
We're going to have a lot of chaos here because these are full squads now coming into each other. We got about 5 here that are stacked as 4. We have maybe a couple med stratters outside the zone. Looks like none of these teams have actually lost any members. So once we start crashing in onto this compound, because everyone knows someone's in that compound, they actually don't know there's likely 2 squads in that compound.
Somehow, A-Rov and WAF have managed to not kill each other in the duration of these zones narrowing in. Now, Baby, he's looking to drive it around and get what action he can. Jiren doing everything he can to find a few kills as they are trying to Mad Max their way into the zone. They managed to get a knock onto Z-Rav, and now they're continuing to push further in. Jiren firing shot after shot with Lancer and Lonely, and Driver and Gunner.
They're going to be able to try and keep on moving. They do see Dark Frost here now. They don't know that they're the separate team, though, of Baby. And now Dark Frost are going to lose 2 members as Wolf and Samsoy get taken on down. Skyzak is still alive here in behind the tree. Samsoy, though, is going to get taken out. Here's going to jump out of the vehicle. Another one's going to drive on by him. And they are lucky that there is no shots coming out from that compound just yet. Jiren going to keep lighting up Skyzak in the vehicle. Skyzak's going to bail out, gets rid of the vehicle, and is able to find cover.
And Dark Frost are just falling apart here. They were spread out all across this open field, and all it took was the Just Team and a handful of vehicles to flush them out of this terrain, to keep them away from safety. Jiren finally gets the final knock, and the Dark Frost squad looks like they've been completely wiped here.
Mr. Lonely and them now going to start maybe making their way on over to that complex, but look at that next circle. It is going to be just on the outside of the complex. So that means Arov, Enko, and the other squad are going to have to get out of there at some point. And we also have just over toward the side here. But guess what? Just call me. They do get spotted out. They're all in behind this rock, and they're lucky that crossbows aren't a meta anymore, because that is just waiting for a 3-man wipe to take place.
Akame just firing shot after shot to keep them pinned down. The quick drive-by from Lancer as he looks for a knock. Nobody's gone down just yet. The building is going low, but finally there's the knock. As Jeff Pro and Bandar end up finding themselves onto the ground, they're continuing to roam around like sharks circling around their prey, and the squad ends up getting wiped out. Call me eliminated.
Yeah, Mr. Lonely going to be sitting now on 4 kills for himself. That's actually Lancer that's going to get the kill credits as they continue making their way up. There's still one member of Baby alive here in behind all of this chaos, and they're actually trying to take shots here. That's
a Barrett knock.
Yeah, Barrett knock's going to come on in. This is, of course, Southeast Asia. They like their snipers. They like to use those flick shots, except that's pretty hard there. Mr. Lonely's able to find the shots here onto Duinter, so he's going to have to back off.
And still the action continues. 16 players left as the zone is starting to narrow down. The attempted knock drive-by, but it is not successful. WAF. Somehow they found their way inside of a vehicle and are maneuvering around the inside of the circle here. A quick leap to try to get the cleanup, but it's almost a knock, and no, Mr. Lonely finds himself with another one.
Mr. Lonely stands his ground, but he's going to get taken on down in the end. Jiren's the last member of this squad and is able to keep himself alive. Another shot coming on through. His double left is now going to try and trade here with Lancer. Gets taken on down. Mr. Lonely's going to also fall. We have 11 players remaining. Arov, though, has decided to make their advance up toward the hill now after dealing with the other squad in the building.
Now, they've had a few members knocked, and they're trying to push up the side of this terrain. They've still got another member sitting inside of the building, just outside the edge of the zone to look for a late med strat. But they found Nepter on the far side. He gets eliminated on the back end still. Small boy, he smells blood. He knows that there's kills to be had. It's just a matter of time as, the slow bleed out death.
I'm actually very confused.
Oh, he's inside of the zone?
He's inside the zone, is able to heal back up. I'm shocked that Arov was able to get out of that building without losing a single member.
It looks like WAF might have just bailed and decided it's better not to flush out Arov. We'll deal with them on the hill if we get better terrain first. But in their haste to push the hill, they found themselves in a firefight, and then it was Arov coming from behind them with the flank who were able to flush them out and pick up even more kills.
All right, it's just 90 Baby here. He's the only lone member outside the circle left. He's going to be taking some damage, has to take some shots here. We have 6 players remaining, but Arov have all 4 still available. That means 90 is the only one left of his squad, and we have one last mid-stratter coming out. Lawpro, some shots coming on toward him. 90 gets the down, is able to find it, but still has a lot of work to do, has to heal, but it might be a little too late.
Just outside of the zone, he's wrapping that bandage as fast as he can. Health ticks back up just in time, but he's continuing to look for more shots instead of healing.
He got Small Boy!
Small Boy gets knocked down. That's 2 members, Baby. One man against the world. Trying to heal up, but it's not enough. He'll tick down, and Arov take round number 1.
They are going to end up bleeding out there on the side of 90. Was not able to pull it off, but yes, Arov keeping up their streak from yesterday are now able to find themselves their victory here on day 2 of week 5 in our first round. And there we go. A little bit of a chaos here and there. The Vietnam squad's also popping up, but you got to give some, got to consider here on the side of Indonesia. You got all 5 of your squads in the top 12, so strong showing here from the region. Apologies, Fate is from Singapore, so that's 4 of your 5 squads in the top.
Yeah, and in the chaos of that final fight, that was just absolute chaos on top of the hill. Everyone was pushing at different times, and the open terrain made it so that vehicles were actually surprisingly effective. Squads were stacking up and circling around. Lancer, as if he was riding a horse, and instead of a lance, he had a machine gun, was just driving around and picking off people behind boulders and trees. Messy finish, but it ended up working.